Today in our program, 2 performances, 1 director at the Puppet Theater Festival in Kyiv. About how the famous writer's works were translated into the puppet language in Odessa and ancient Greek myths in the Belarusian town of Molodechno. Enjoy the performances of Babel's women and Graya's sisters, witty, funny, sad and scary. Everyone read Babel, knows what he writes and how he writes. These are Father, Jesus Sin and King. Let's listen. I think everything will turn out fine. This is Eugene Cornet. He has drawn attention to his work in Odessa. Your fate will be decided unexpectedly. Yes, this cannot be argued. We have no names, we're just sisters. I'm just one of the performers, not a sister. I say, Zhenya, you fulfilled my dream. This year, the strongest competition is among the performances of the evening scene. The artists from Kyiv and Belarus, the town Molodechno, came to us. They produced extremely powerful and highly impressive work. There are some important issues that are being raised that concern us today. Actors of the Odessa Puppet Theater, who were preparing to go on stage, were very confident. We're set to win. This is based on Isaac Babel, and there will be 3 stories. I think that everything will turn out fine. Be confident, you need to make the audience love you. Everything will be fine with us. I'm confident that we can handle this task. The role has been polished. It's been run in a year. So why worry? Actor Valery Strelets summarized very succinctly. I'm short, do not worry, I'm absolutely calm. The Odessa Regional Academic Puppet Theater, last year's winner of the festival's Grand Prix, this time presented one of its trump cards, titled Babel's Women, based on the work of Isaac Babel. It is an extremely dynamic and bold performance. We're very grateful to the organizers of the festival for allowing us to participate and show ourselves. It is rather for adults, in which there is basically a synthesis of all genres. The production, which organically combined work with dolls and a live performance of actors, was carried out by the Belarusian director Eugene Cornet, an experienced and creative master who has successfully collaborated in Europe with many famous theaters. Yes, he's famous in Europe and often stages in Poland. He's a citizen of Belarus. He has already staged 2 performances here in Ukraine, An Interview with Witches, and the second one is titled Babel's Women. The director got down to work with his own group of directors, who are also natives of Belarus, composer Nikita Zolotar and painter Tamara Nersisyan. The work of Odessa residents is an openly bold, dynamic and entertaining format. Of course, there are funny moments there, but probably it will be too premature for children to watch. The age rating is 16+, not even 18. Rather for an older generation. It is both for adults and even for teenagers. It is based on the stories of Isaac Babel titled Jesus Sin, Father and King. The storyline of the play is the stories of women in which the main characters are women that are not beautiful or charming, but are craving for love and female happiness. This is about the hard life of a woman that lived in the times of Babel at the beginning of the 20th century. 3 stories are told of 3 women at different times and in very different circumstances. This is Dvoira Krik, the sister of Benya Krik, the gangster king. This is Basya, a very long and hefty woman who also wants to love like everyone else. And this is also the story of an easygoing girl named Arina. The performance, especially created for an adult audience, has already won the hearts of the audience in Odessa and now in the nation's capital, Kyiv. This is a performance given by our evening repertoire, because we're trying very hard to promote this culture of the evening puppet theater, to stray away from the ossified, as one might call it, Soviet idea that a puppet theater is strictly a children's theater. Our main idea is to show such performances as Babel's Women, An Interview with Witches and the Odessa Hoax. Dolls of various sizes are made from a few centimeters in size to surrealistically giant. Art director Tatiana Nersisyan, whom many critics call the Belarusian genius, sought to make her dolls as close to Babel as possible in order that people understood them and revealed his essence. The masters created about 65 unexpected puppet images, which helped 10 actors to get used to their roles. It was in this way that these actors managed to become equal partners with the puppets on stage. Of course, there's a lot of work. This is a kind of puppet artist collaboration. We always try to somehow develop this unique contemporary genre, namely in a synthetic theater. This is when we interlace different styles that allow for an artist to also become a puppet, and a puppet can become alive, just like an artist. The most important thing is that we organize and together support each other. That is, we have a very close-knit team, and we always hold on to one another. The director said about his performance, "The main thing in this production is the search for a language, plastic, musical, that is adequate to the biblical flowery language of Isaac Babel." Judging by the reaction of the large auditorium of the Kyiv Theater of Young Spectators in Lipki, the director and his creative team completed their super task. In order to move the audience, the performance must be not only humorous, but touch the viewer's minds psychologically. During such performances, the audience does not always react loudly. They mostly sit very quietly and are totally fascinated. Let them read Isaac Babel, read more and more. And in the end, they even cry. Head director of co-production of the Minsk Regional Puppet Theater Batleika, Nikolai Andreev, contributes to the birth of fresh ideas and gives a creative charge to artists. That is why Belarusians from Molodechno are open to joint projects and participating in major international festivals as often as possible. Everything is on the rise. Interesting young directors have joined our team. Today it will be possible to watch the performance Graya Sisters. This is Eugene Cornet. He has already staged 2 plays in Odessa. We have 1. He works in Minsk, so I wanted to work with him. He is very conscientious. He works very interestingly, and he stayed with us for 2.5 months without leaving the theater. I mean that he literally worked every day, put in all his efforts, and gave us fantastic creative inspiration. According to critics, the young Belarusian director Eugene Cornet continues to actively work in creating his own theater. In the Molodechno theater, he created a play about the gods, based on myths of ancient Greece. Graya Sisters. It seems to me that they exist. It turns out that the 3 sisters who command are stronger than Zeus. It is most probably some kind of twist of fate. No, they're not kind. I think we're still invented. We do not exist. I mean that we're not of flesh and blood. The Graya sisters have 1 eye on 3, and they know all about the secrets of fate. They live on the border of the land of death, the field of ignorance and the sleep of reason, thus giving rise to monsters and some incomprehensible feelings. It is the half-blind Grayas who cut the line of human life. Then I saw this performance, which was made by Eugene Cornet. I realized that the man has such a limitless imagination. Both puppet and directorial, he invents everything on the go. This is a very interesting thing. The 3 sisters Graya foretell fate like Moira, the goddess of fate. At the same time, they're blind, and they have 1 eye for 3. It's great, right? The director placed the gods in a small box space of the Batleika Puppet Theater. This is why their size became even more noticeable in contrasts. Yes, indeed, the director allowed to show only the head. Wow, you can't argue here. I can't smile. Such yellow teeth compared to a white face. He invents all this completely from beginning to end. Of course, the artist then helps him. Olga Razumova is our art director. There's even something from Batleika there. Batleika is a Belarusian folk theater. Just like you had the Vertap. This is just a window in which you can see pictures and images that carry some kind of symbolic load.
несут какую-то такую символическую нагрузку.
The action of Belarusians is loaded with metaphors and visualities, and the main emotion that's shown through the play is fear. But meanwhile, there was humor and even absurdity. This tempestuous whirlwind of sensations was part of the director's plan. When we wore the costumes in white, thus painting the bodies, we felt the atmosphere of the performance. Since in ancient Greece there was a body cult, the director set the task to show the human body first of all, and its incredible beauty. Director Eugene Cornet, of course, put a serious load on the Belarusian actors. They had to play in a puppet show in a kind of suit made of white clay and even with inserted pupil lenses. This is not easy even for experienced actors. They're afraid and scared of themselves. At first, yes, now no longer. Now everyone is used to it. We learned to wear lenses. Then the makeup artists filled our faces with plaster to make masks. Then they inserted paper tubes into our noses. It was difficult to survive this moment. The play has no words, no subtitles, only completely white, like Greek statues, actors and torso dolls that complement the actions of the actors. There will be dolls, but dolls are an object. Not just a doll, as in the usual sense of the doll, rather bodies plastered in gypsum. Arms, legs and heads. These are dolls. There is the use of this ancient sculpture art, but it is not made of marble, rather papier-mâché. Mostly female characters appear on stage, while the male ones perform the roles of only Zeus and Kronos, and Perseus only shows his hand. This is young Zeus. Wine white? This is nothing other than a concept. It is a sculpture, architecture and texture. The head of the Belarusian theater says that the modern audience becomes immediately intrigued not only by the form invented by the director, but also by the eternal, profound meanings of life. Most likely nothing has changed over the past 2000 years. These are the same human relationships when a person kills another person. These are also some tragic moments, right? Or this about the helplessness of a man before wild nature. He's like some kind of small insect. Is this not relevant today? Nevertheless, everyone has their own answer to the traditional question of the significance of the festival. And this is also its peculiarity and originality. After all, the result is important for actors, the audience and the development of the puppet genre. This is most likely about communication with colleagues and joining their work. When we communicate, we also invent something new. As for me, well, I have to notice something. Maybe it will float into my head at some point. We cannot live without them, because puppeteers live a different life. Some stray aside, especially when you see theaters like this in Kyiv. This is amazing. This is my first time here, although I know Kyiv well, but the theater itself is Europe. And the audience was lucky to see new and interesting performances and observe a lot of amazing possibilities of the puppet theater that continue to develop in the realities of modern life.